Welcome, fight fans,
to the Fighters Boys Kick-Ass Podcast.
Your Fight Talk Authority.
Not to mention the most entertaining and talked about podcast with your kick-ass host, Richard ORTIZ.
You mad? Come at me, bro.
And his loyal kick-ass co-host, Senor Cole Escovedo.
Streaming live and worldwide.
Coming to you all the way live from a little place somewhere in Cali. The Fighters Boys
Kick-Ass Podcast.
Fresno, California. We're live here in Mad Production Studios. I'm your host for tonight's show, the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass Podcast, Richard ORTIZ. And beside me is the co-host with the most, the UFC veteran himself, the Apache Kid, Mr. Cole Escovedo. What's happening, Cole?
What's up, amigo? It's been a quiet day. I've been trying to figure out how to get a monitor to work with my PlayStation all afternoon for work, but it was to no avail.
Just call any kid, man, any teenager out there.
Dude, ain't none of the kids at my school going to help me.
Oh, they're not going to help you?
Hell no, dude. They'd be like, whatever, Mr.
Did you get a new game or what?
No, I've got a lot of downtime where we're not interacting with students or we're not doing visits to their houses or anything, so it's just like a lot of sit down and wait kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I just figured, hey, I got a PlayStation VR. I got a bunch of room.
Make it happen.
It happen,
Put this thing together.
Yeah, how's your knee working out?
My knees, it's working out pretty good. I mean, the pain is still there, but, I'm in a better place than I was the last time I spoke to you.
Okay.
So, day by day, man. And
that's good. Yeah, I remember you were saying that one's not healing as fast as the other one.
No, but it's healing now. It's
good.
We're getting there.
Okay.
We're starting to make
baby steps. It takes time.
Exactly. So, speaking of taking time, man, I mean, let's talk about our guest that we have with us tonight, man, in downtime. This boxing world, I mean, COVID has hit everybody in every sport. But my man has been staying busy, man. Staying busy, waiting for that phone call, waiting for the announcement, because he had one fight that just getting ready to happen, and then it didn't fall through for whatever reason. There was negotiations on the weight. Had nothing really to do with the money. It was just the weight. But my man's making his return, man. I mean, the former WBA super lightweight champion of the world that we have with us today, and that's Mr. Regis Rougarou Prograis. Welcome to the show, Regis.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me on again, bro.
Oh, man, it's always a pleasure, man. It's always an adventure having you on, man, because it's never a dull minute whenever I'm talking to you, Regis.
All right.
So, hey, man, I mean, how's fight camp going? I mean, right around the corner, are you going to step right back into the ring? Showtime, PBC.
Pay-per-view, baby. Yeah, pay-per-view, man. I'm just, fight camp is hard, just like always, man. Like, this fight camp has been just extra hard on me. This is the first fight camp I'm actually living like a fighter. Usually all my other camps and stuff like that, I'll just be all kinds of other activities. This camp, I kind of just been training. I train, 3, sometimes 4 times a day, and I come home, I take a nap, I eat, take a nap, my kids a little bit, maybe read, and and do it again. Wake up, train again, and then train again after that. So this camp been, real good. Very, boring like it's supposed to be, but very good, very hard, and I just can't wait. I can't wait to get back, bro, and just go out there and do what I gotta do.
Yeah, I mean, you're a fan favorite, man. You definitely got a following, and you definitely got the support from especially New Orleans and everybody around you. I've never met a person or talked to anybody who, at the end of the day, they may not agree with your comments or what have you, but they have nothing but total respect for you. That the fact that you're a true professional, you never miss weight, and you always put on a show.
Hello.
Yeah. Are you there?
Did we lose him?
Hello.
Did we lose you?
Yeah, we can hear you, Regis.
Oh, okay, my bad. I didn't hear y'all.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, okay, man.
Yeah, I can hear you now. So I heard this was the last I heard.
So real quick, we'll get you back into your camp mode thought process there. You were saying this has been particularly hard. Did you find it hard just for this particular fight, or do you think because of the obvious COVID stuff going on, it was harder to have people coming in and out of your camp? You had to be more restrictive? Or did you have like a list of people that were pre-approved that could come into the camp? Because you obviously don't want to risk an infection, of some kind before getting tested for the fight anyway, because then they're just going to yank you off the card.
Nah. I mean, it was just hard just because training camp was hard. That's the main thing.
Okay.
When the whole Corona, actually living, I was in California. I was living in LA. Now I'm back to Texas. So everything. So it's hard. It's just training camp is brutal. Training camp is very hard, and that's just that's how it is.
I notice a lot of times you always have some familiar faces around you. Whether it's a close family member or a friend. Do you have anybody offering that support this time around that you changed campsites?
Of course, I always got my people with me. And that's just that's all this love that I do. I always got people and stuff. But as far as but this has been a little to go to this question because we can't have that many people in the gym, so I couldn't have none of my partners like that in the gym with me. But usually I do have a driver. One of my friends usually he drives for me. He drives to the gym and and then he'll be in the gym. But this camp, we couldn't do that. We couldn't risk it getting the corona. So yeah, my people, I just see him, I see him after the fight. That's all.
Do you feel that is less of a maybe say a distraction for you than you've had in prior camps where you don't really have your entourage or your usual people around you? Do you feel that you've been able to focus more on the training? You said you're training like up to almost 4 times a day. That really sounds like you've got a lot of free time now on your hands, whereas otherwise you might have been hanging out with your friends, hanging out, playing Madden or something, or just shooting ball or just shooting shit. Do you think that's allowed you to be more focused on the training this camp, not having those distractions?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think that's a factor. For me, I always train hard, but it's always about your outside activity, outside the gym that makes a big difference. So
it keeps you level.
I think that does this. Thinking about it, that does kind of play a role. So.
Now, do you feel? I imagine they kind of are probably bummed out because they're probably used to doing certain things for you, like your boy who drives you. Like his job almost is to drive Regis around. Like that's what he does. It's like it's his driver. So
it's a good job, man.
Yeah. So I was gonna say as well. So you've got that kind of thing now. Or kind of like a poker dealer where you're relying on the game.
Yeah.
Every week, and then like a casino shuts down. Same concept. We're like here. It's like Regis pays me like every month to drive him around all month, like I'm his driver. Now he doesn't have a driver anymore. It takes a toll. Like that affects everyone around him. So yeah, I can understand the different feeling of circle around you.
Yeah.
And Regis, I know you're staying focused, and you're expecting soon, right? You predicted that you'd like it to have it on the day of your fight. Is that when the due date is?
No, I don't want to have
Oh, okay.
The baby, hell no, I don't want to be the day of my fight. No, the baby actually is due on the 30th. That's, the day before my fight. Hopefully the baby can come, hopefully the baby can come before that. My wife, she says she's ready. She feel like it's going to come before that. So hopefully, I'm praying, the baby can come like next week before I leave. I have to leave, like not the Monday after next. I have to leave. So hopefully the baby can come sometime next week. But if not, she has a sister here. She has, she has her aunt, and she has a support system. So, I just have to do what I got to do. I just won't be here for the birth of the baby, So,
well, now don't. I wouldn't say worry too much about that. And we were talking with Gabriel Flores Sr. Last time he was on. And, realistically, bro, think ahead. Assume, like, if the baby doesn't come before you have to leave for fight week, because they're going to quarantine you once you go. They're gonna keep you in isolation so that you can be tested and be cleared, and then they can keep you in quarantine in a bubble so that you can fight. Get an iPad. Get 2 iPads. Make sure that they can connect to each other, and then have sister, if the baby doesn't come by then, have sister with the iPad so that whenever the baby does come, you can iPad and you can still be there. Like, it was a good idea that he brought in because they were going to use it for
Yeah. We were talking about a trainer that tested positive. It was actually Robert Garcia.
Yeah, it was Robert Garcia. That's right. My bad.
Regis. He tested positive for the coronavirus. So leading up to his being able to corner Jose Ramirez, if he was to hit another roadblock, they were going to have him corner by way of using an iPad.
That's crazy.
So that's something doable. Like you could literally, you might not physically be able to be there, but you can still be there, like virtually. I guess that's the best way to describe it, man. Is like just have a fail-safe kind of thing. So like in case the baby doesn't come, that way you don't, because I can understand you can already hear it in his concern. He's like, nah, man, I hope the baby comes before that.
I was about to say that because we're talking to a different Regis. I've never heard Regis nervous or offset or uncomfortable because he's usually the dictator of I control my atmosphere, I control my own well-being, and this, my brother, it's in God's hands, my man.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I kind of don't, don't worry about that stuff, bro. I control what I can.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's it. Luckily, my team, nobody has the corona right now. So,
Yeah.
We all good. We actually get tested like twice a week for that.
Mhm.
And, luckily nobody has it. So, everything is good, man. So, just thank God for that.
Right on, amen, brother. Hey, you're very open about a lot of things that you do. I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you know, is it a boy or a girl? You got names?
It's a girl. It's a girl.
Okay.
Her name would be Kalani. My second girl, so her name would be Kalani. I got two already. My son and my daughter. So it's another girl. So her name is Kalani. Like I said, it's crazy thing. My son's birthday is the 20th. So I got a very, very busy October. So gotta fight fight the baby, and then my son's birthday. So very, very busy October. So I'm kind of just ready for all this to be over, man. The fight is the main thing. I've been busting my ass training, and after I think this week is my last really, really hard week, and then we kind of just start tapering off after that, and then just go to San Antonio and just get it over with.
Do your thing, man. I mean, the baby's going to come out in fine fashion, just the way you walk into the ring making a statement, or the baby's going to make a statement of her own, man. Trust me, because if she's anything like Pops, sky's the limit, man.
Right. Hopefully so.
You know what? I want to talk to you. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Cole. I want to talk to you about your son. I watched a video. Cole, this young man is completely 100% fearless.
Oh, I would imagine.
I mean, from diving in the pool just like his dad where there's crocodiles. I mean, the kid put a snake's head in his mouth.
Oh, man.
And didn't even blink like it was an ice cream.
I mean, if dad does it and dad's okay, why can't I do it kind of mentality approach,
I mean, there's no boogeyman around him. There's nothing that scares him.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a good way to approach things, but it's a risky one too. You get a little boy starts to grow up with no fear. Man, he's gonna be jumping trash cans. He's gonna be doing all kinds of crazy stuff, man. Surfing.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a fearless little dude, bro. I mean, I raised him like that. My daughter's actually, she's kind of the same way. She's very fearless. She's besides the dark. She's a little scared of the dark. But she's scared of the dark, but she'll jump off whatever and play with whatever. I had an alligator, and she was like grabbing the tail and all kinds of stuff like that. So it's that girl. My kids, man, they kind of fearless. They see me doing it, and I don't believe in fear either. I'm just not. I believe in danger, but I don't believe in fear. So
that's a good way to live.
I mean, that's just how it is. I guess so. They just see me doing it. They do the same thing.
It's a perfect lead by example. He's established to them that, danger is a very real thing.
Yeah.
Fear is just whatever you make up in your head. That's all it is. Yeah.
There's certain elements that you can control when it comes to fear.
Mm-hmm.
You accept it or you don't. So your daughter, she's pretty daring herself too. Has she made it down the stairs with inside that that little igloo thing?
We didn't do that. No, we didn't let her do it, man. She wanted to. She actually wanted to do it, but we was like, nah, you
Nah.
But she wanted to, because my son did it, and he hurt his elbow doing it. He hit like the last rail. He hit his elbow real hard. So, but my daughter, she wanted to do it, and I was like, nah, you can't do it. She wanted to get in with me. I was like, nah.
I ain't trying to go to the hospital today.
I remember you took a spill on one of yours. I think it was one of the last ones that you posted.
Yeah, I fell too. Yeah, I fell.
Cole, we're talking about, I mean, a staircase, right?
Uh-huh.
And this guy gets in it's like a big ice chest.
Yeah.
And just goes
Like big
all the
storage
way
container,
down,
yeah.
bro, all the way down. And sometimes it's smooth, and sometimes
No, sometimes
it
you
is
catch
what
that
it
front
is.
tip, dude, and you go face forward, man.
That's
just
it.
Just put a football helmet on, man. You're fine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a hole in the drywall can't be fixed.
No, well,
Call that roller coaster time.
yeah. I mean, he makes his own roller coasters. He makes his own rides, and makes his own openings. And what I want to ask you, Regis, I'll get into too much detail. How much of a negotiation did it finally take to get you on this card? I know you left Lou DiBella, and you signed a one fight deal with PVC, and as soon as you signed, they had a fight for you. I mean, how comfortable were you making that decision? Was it just, hey, I want to get back in the ring and do what I do best?
It was both, man. I can't say both. It was a combination of things. I definitely wanted to get in the ring. I since this whole thing started, I had like 4 fights that fell out. This is like my 5th training camp I kind of been in, so I started like a lot of training camps. So of course I wanted to get back in, and one person I kind of always admired and looked up to was Al Heyman. And Al Heyman is, for me, is like the godfather of boxing. Most people can't even see him, but everybody knows his name. And that's just somebody I kind of always wanted to be associated with, basically. And the Charlo brothers, they're like my brothers, and they always told me, man, come over here, man, come over here. And it's the right time, man. It's the right time and the perfect timing for everything. So once my manager negotiated this, I was just like, man, I'm ready to go. So we was good.
It's a good team too. They just both fought over the last weekend. 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah, Showtime Boxing pay-per-view, and they look spectacular. They show the whole world exactly who they are. They're not ready for that next level. They are that next level, and
definitely
they're ready to take those big fights against those big names. And I can see them dethroning a lot of the names. I don't see anybody really pushing up against the wall where it's a walkover. I'm talking even Canelo. I want to see Charlo brother and Canelo. I mean, let's get it on. Let's find out who's really the baddest out there. And that'll be a rock'em sock'em fight, man. You're going to see a lot of transitions once that happens. And I see that happening in possibly maybe next year.
Is that a fight we could ever see, given that they're both signed with different organizations or promotions?
Well, right now Carnelo's a pretty
about free agent almost. He's almost
just
he's about to become a free agent. Yeah.
Yeah. Any fight's possible of being made.
I think he'll lose that, and I think they're going to cut him loose. I think he'll lose that suit, and they'll say
he'll be the hottest free agent.
Yeah, but who can afford him? That's a question too. Like, just because he's a free agent, it's like, well, who can actually afford you right now? Who's got the TV deals?
Regis just said that he watched and admires Al Heyman. So that's a man who could afford a lot of numbers and make big things happen. He's had the best of the best, and believe me, he'll put his bid out there. If he wants him, he'll make his bid out there.
No, I get that. I can imagine a guy like Heyman would want him, but wanting him after you know what he's going to cost. Because you got to remember, it's not just going to be what you're paying Canelo. You got to pay people to fight Canelo. Those guys are going to want a little bit of a chunk of change now, and they're going to be like, no. That
fight, and you'll agree with me, Regis. That'll take place once we're back to normal, the norm, because it's definitely going to be a sellout wherever it is posted at, where the event comes to take place at. If in fact it does take place next year, that'll be a dream fight for a lot of fans, man, and a lot of questions will be answered.
Right.
So, Regis, I want to talk. I want to get more in depth about your fight, man. Without giving it away too much, man. I mean, you were ready to adapt to fighting a lanky, taller man with the longer reach. For whatever reason, he continued to. He wanted the fight, but he wanted the fight at a different weight. And you said yourself you weren't ready to go up there because you didn't want to do that to your body, because you still have some business to take care of at the 140-pound division. And you said you before you step out of that division, you want to once again become a world champion. Who do you have your eye on the winner? I mean, because it's going to take place of Jose and Taylor. Is there unfinished business with Taylor?
Yeah, definitely. I think that, it's definitely unfinished business with me and Taylor. The fight, I honestly still thought I won that fight. A lot of people thought I won that fight. I feel like if it was here in the U.S., I definitely would have got the nod, but I don't want to get it twisted. I don't want people thinking I'm saying that I got robbed. I didn't get robbed. He won, but it was so close to where I could have won also. So it depends on, I think, basically, I just feel like if it was here, I would have won, basically, but I think just me and Taylor, we definitely have unfinished business. Me and him have a lot of money sitting on the table, so we definitely have to fight again, maybe even 3 times, depends on how the second fight goes. So I think that, that's definitely a money fight on the table for me and him. As far as Ramirez, I mean, maybe. I mean, it depends if he wins or not. I don't know, but right now I do want to be a champion again at 140 before I move up to 147. But of course, the money is always the biggest thing. After this, you never know. They might offer me a fight at 147 for a crazy amount of money, and that I can't turn down. So if that happens, then we'll see. But right now, my goal is to be a champion again at 140 before moving up. So, and whoever has, it's just in boxing. You just never know the landscape of things. The landscape changes so much in boxing and so sporadically to where you just never know. So that's my goal, to be a champion again at 140, have some type of belt before I go up to 147, and then after that, we'll see what's up. We'll see what happens.
What's your prediction on that? I mean, I'm not asking you to pick a winner, but do you think the winner will stay down and defend at 140, or do you think both men will vacate and move up?
I think both of them move up. I mean, I don't think it's nothing. It depends, man. I don't know. It depends on who's going to be out there. I mean, they have right now 140 is a hot division. And it just it's starting to steam up. It was a dull division for a while. After Crawford went up, it was kind of dull when he was there, so he became undisputed. He won, and after that fight, after he went up and stuff like that, then it was just dull for a long time. Nobody knew who was the man at 140. Nobody knew. I was the man for a long time. I was the number one in the division for a long time. And you got Taylor, then you had Ramirez, and then you had the other champions. You had Relic and they had Baranchek. So I mean, it was a lot, but they didn't know. But now it's just a lot of competition right now. So to go back to your question, with those two, I mean, it depends. It depends on what's the biggest fight. Maybe the winner might fight me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Or the winner might fight like a Zepeda or something like that. It depends. Or they might go up to 147 and see what they got over there. Or like I said, both of them are with top ranks. So I think the move they will try to make is fight a Crawford fight. The winner is undisputed versus the other undisputed, the former undisputed, and that's like whoever wins that versus Crawford. That could potentially be a money fight over there. So I think that's kind of what they will try to do. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it depends on them. It depends on the landscape and what happens. Boxing is a crazy sport. You never know what's going to happen.
I agree, and the only reason I ask you is because I wanted to see if, in fact, the winner would stay back and defend all four, as opposed to, because if both men move up, man, we got the alphabet soup all over again. And I didn't know if you wanted to dethrone the people's champion, the undisputed champion, or are you going to fight for a vacated belt? I talked to Teofimo Lopez, and he's already thinking ahead. I mean, he wants to move up if he's successful this Saturday to the 140-pound division, and talk about hot. That division just got hotter, and that'd be great for boxing.
Right. Well, yeah, you're right. That'll be another fight. Like I said, 140 is a popping division, so it's a lot of fights to be made. So we'll just see, man. Like I said, you never know the landscape of the box. You never know the landscape. So you'll just see what's going on with it. Right on, man.
Hey, well, I brought you on tonight because I'm going to pick your brain, but I didn't just want to come over here and just pick your brain. And I was talking to Cole off camera about this big fight, and it's no secret unless you've been in Mars or just on another planet, man. But the world awaits, and it's finally going to take place this Saturday. ESPN Top Rank Boxing presents Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez, man. I'm going to put you on the director's chair right now, man. Give me the keys to victory for both men, how you think this fight starts to develop, and give me your final outcome. We'll start with Lomachenko.
Loma, man, the main thing for both of them, man, I just think they got to beat them, It's going to be I think it's just going to be a very, very explosive fight. Both of them, it's going to be a good fight. I want to see it. I'm actually excited to see this fight. Loma has to just beat him. It's such an interesting fight because both of them, the keys to victory for both of those dudes are just to beat them. Like that's it. That's why it's so interesting. I think it's a 50-50 fight. But Loma, if he can neutralize Teofimo with his footwork, with his movement, with his footwork and his defense, then we'll see. With his, he is very, very tricky, with his footwork and his head movement and all that type of stuff. He's very tricky. But Teofimo is so explosive. That's the thing. And if he catches him, Loma's been dropped before. Loma's been beat before, So if he catches him with that, with those punches, like he called Comey, or when Linares dropped Loma with, if he catches the one that, you never know what's the outcome. It might be night, so I don't know, man. I don't know how of course nobody knows how the outcome of the fight will be, but I'm actually rolling with Teofimo on that fight.
There you go, man. Cole, I mean, that's a fight that's been mentioned from day one. And it's finally going to take place this Saturday, man. And it's good for boxing. It's good for the sport.
It is having good good fights that make sense is a real crucial thing right now. Like obviously, quantity is a factor right now in order to bring boxing back into the mainstream. Not necessarily back into the mainstream, but with COVID right now, getting it going again, getting the traction going, getting fighters paid.
They're actually going to allow some press there and a few fans there.
Okay, cool. So then the baby steps are alluding back to it. So so right now they want to go with quantity, but giving quality fights kind of goes to fixing that black eye that boxing always had of, oh, that was probably a rigged fucking fight, or blah, blah, blah this, or blah, blah that, or of course he won. Like, this will be a fight where everyone's going to be like, damn, like, I hope my guy wins, but I don't know. Like, either one of these dudes could knock each other out. So you know it's probably not going to go decision. If it does, both of these guys are going to go for broke. So it's not going to be like, oh, someone got robbed. It's going to be like, nah, dude, it is just that dude won tonight, or someone got knocked out. So this is going to help contribute to that, to the credit of boxing coming back, because they've had so many questionable fights in the past with so many questionable marquee fighters that I'm not even a huge boxing fan, but I've noticed it. I've seen fans remorse about it, going, man, I wish I just stopped with boxing. It's just not worth it. So I think these kind of fights are those marquee fights that are going to bring boxing back to that whole, hey, dude, we got quality, legit fights. Come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what, Regis, I want to ask you, when's the last time that we've had an event live up to its hype? What I'm saying is, when's the last time we had a fight where you said, you know what, Richard, it's a 50-50 fight? When's the last fight that you had to say, okay, without thinking, okay, this guy's going to win because of A and B, but this one, you're telling me you're going for a certain person?
Probably my fight with Taylor. My fight with Taylor was, most people are saying it was 50-50 fight. I was kind of the favorite, but most people are saying it was a 50-50 fight. So I think my fight with Taylor, another fight probably lived up to it was I think it was Errol Spence and Sean Porter. I can't say it was 50-50. Everybody expected kind of Errol to win. But yeah, I think it was my fight with Taylor that was people were saying that was a 50-50 fight.
No, I agree. I mean, it was a 50-50 fight going in. I had you down in my book as stopping him in the later rounds, along with a few other people around me. And had it been in the States, it would have had a little more juice around here. When I say juice, just more excitement, more hype that, hey, it's here in the States.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you this, man, because there's, like you said, there's no guarantees in boxing. And it may be a question you want to share or you just want to keep to yourself. If, in fact, Jose Ramirez decides to say, okay, we're going to fight in the UK, if you were ever to offer up any advice to anybody, man, what's the toughest thing to transition to that you had to overcome when you headed down to the UK to take on Josh Taylor?
Man, they called the Lions Den, and when I fought, I don't think Ramirez fought in front of 20,000 people yet, so we fought in 2002 and it was packed. It was over 20,000 people and everybody was against me, and so that's a lot of pressure on you. And you got to make sure you can knock them out. I mean, even for me going into the fight, most people told me don't take that fight over there. You're not going to get a decision. The reason I did take the fight over there because I always wanted to fight in London, and I really did think I was gonna stop him. I believed that I was gonna stop him, so I do credit him for taking that punishment I gave him. But I really felt like, I was like, man, I'm gonna stop this dude or whatever. But it's gonna be hard to get a decision, and the fans over there are fanatic. That's the thing. If you're a good fighter, they'll love you forever. Even right now, I honestly think most of my fans is from the UK, from New Orleans and from UK. So. If he goes over there in front of the Lions, then he'll just have to know, everybody's kind of rooting against you, and you basically you have to stop. That's the main thing.
Yeah, that's
makes sense.
Yeah,
I've turned down big purses before locally, for example, where it's like, hey, we'll give you A and B, or we'll just give you A, flat. And I'm like, why don't you just give me the flat? And they're like, why? I'm like, well, A, I'm saving you money, so what are you crying about? And B, I'm not going to win a decision against your guy. I'll take the flat fee. I'll take my chances that I finish your guy and get a flat fee. I'm not looking to lose a decision.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I was very surprised too that you did take the fight down in the UK, and it had to be something exactly what you said. Just the belief in you and in yourself. I was waiting for that big left hand to land. I mean, all the way till the last 30 seconds, man. Believe me when I say this. Bro, I was watching the fight, and after the first 4 rounds, I was saying, "Come on, man! I mean, get inside." And I was just, I mean, me and everybody else. I mean, you'd be surprised how many followers and supporters you have here in Fresno, California, man.
Right. Well, it's all love.
Amen to that, brother. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you sharing that because you broke it down and you let us know who you're rooting for, man. But let's talk about the card, the main event that you're going to be participating in, and that's at the end of the month, man. And we're talking about Tank and Leo Santa Cruz, man. What's your take on that fight? Do you think the weight is going to affect Tank, and do you think Santa Cruz can take the pressure and the power of Tank Davis?
That's an interesting fight too, man. It's a good fight, That's why it's pay-per-view, and that's a damn good fight. Now about the weight, I think Tank should be able to make it. I think he should be able. I seen him in training camp. It looks like he's very, very focused. He's eating the right stuff. He's doing what he has to do. Of course, we'll never know until the weigh-ins, but it looks like he'll make it. And as far as Leo, I mean both of them, man. I mean it's the classic example of basically their styles kind of clash, and whoever can enforce their will, I think is gonna win. If it depends if Leo can take his punches, and then it depends if Tank can take that pressure. So it's gonna be a good ass fight, man. I'm just glad I'm on the card, and I'm be watching it. Definitely gonna be watching that fight.
Oh, right on, man. I mean, you broke it down. Do you have a winner for me? What does it take for Tank to be successful? And what? Okay, then what is it?
Snap decision.
By what? By stoppage, or how do you see it?
I just can't say. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to predict fights like that. I can't really say stoppage. I just got Tank. I just feel like it's just a gut feeling. I feel like he gonna win. But it's still a pretty even fight. But I still got Tank.
If Tank's victorious, man, this is definitely going to be his coming out party. I mean, a star is born, and it's time to market that man. And there's no more taking any gravy fights. Not saying that he did, but I mean, I'm talking about from here on, nothing but names, nothing but big names, title fights, unification fights, because he needs to be able to make an impact on the sport, and he's going to do that by taking on the Leo Santa Cruzes, the Ryan Garcias. All the other tough 130 pounders out there, or 126s, and he's able to make his mark on the sport.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Now, Regis, I mean, we have all these different elements, different names that are being thrown out in the heavyweight division, man. I mean, it doesn't look like Deontay Wilder and the trilogy is going to take place. Do you have any objective with Anthony Joshua stepping up and taking on Tyson Fury? And if so, do you see him being successful? And do you think there's any way that fight can take place in the States?
No, it wouldn't even make sense to make it in the States, really. I fought in the UK, and the fans are crazy over there. I mean, they're fanatics. They love boxing. So for them to be both from the UK, it wouldn't even make sense for that fight to take place here. It definitely will make sense. They can fight at Wembley Stadium or another stadium that can put over 100,000 people in a stadium, and it'll be crazy. So I think that's what they need to do. But will it take place? We don't know. Boxing, like I said, the landscape is it's all over the place sometimes. But I would definitely like to see it. I think Tyson Fury will win, but it'll be a hell of a fight.
No, I agree with you. So what's your take on the rumor of possibly Mikey Garcia and Manny Pacquiao?
Oh man, that's an interesting fight, because Pacquiao's still looking good, man. Pacquiao 40 years old, and he just beat Keith Thurman, so Pacquiao is a damn legend. But at the same time, Mikey, Mikey smart. Mikey came up smart with Pacquiao, so he probably knows his moves and that type of stuff. And maybe that might be a reason, they don't make it happen, because they do know that, maybe he knows him. He sparred him so many times. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's I think it's still, an interesting fight people will want to watch.
That makes sense. Knowing, like, if I had a guy that used to be a sparring partner, like a regular sparring partner for me, like, you can get better as a fighter and you can fix some things.
Yeah.
But there's little things that, as a fighter, just as a fighter, you're never going to change. There's certain things about you that may be a weakness that you always have that can always be exploited, because you just cannot fix it no matter what the fuck you do. It's just you have that hole in your game. And having a guy that sparred with me regularly like that might incline my manager to say, no, we're going to turn that down, because that guy knows not just what you're good at, but he knows what you're weak at. And to know what you're weak at in boxing, it's the magnification of the exploitation is just, you can't quantify. It's like priceless information, because
Especially
you know his
that's
weakness.
a possible opponent.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, is I could see them turning it down, saying, nah, that's just not smart. Like, that guy knows too many of your weaknesses. Yeah, we filled some holes in your game and you've gotten better, but you got holes in your game that he knows about that maybe nobody else did, because they weren't a consistent sparring partner.
Yeah.
In hearing that, Regis, are you real cautious on who you share rounds with?
I mean, I think my coaches, I really don't care like that. I'll spar with anybody, I'll spar with whoever, but I think my coach, he wouldn't want me to, like, spar with, like, potential opponents and stuff like that. So, but like I said, I don't give two shits about it. I'll do it.
No, I mean, you've never feared away from anybody or any challenge for that matter. What concerns or if any you have do you have going into your fight this in 2 weeks? I mean, what do you know about what can you tell us about your opponent? Is there anything that you're concerned with?
I mean, the main thing is, man, it's like, it's not even about, I feel like he's an average Joe, he's an average fighter, but I'm not even looking at, like, I've been training my ass off and I've been busting my ass, and I'm looking at, like, he's the best in the division. Like, he's the best fighter I ever faced. That would be spectacular. I'm fighting on a Al Heyman, PBC, and that is one of Floyd's fighters. So I have to be spectacular, So I have to go out there and just do what I got to do and be, like I said before, be spectacular. But, I mean, as far as him, I mean, I personally, I don't think he's on a level I am. I don't think he's on my type of level. I think I'm just, I was, world championship type of level. So I was already there, and he's not, he's never fought the type of people I fought before. So, yeah, he shouldn't be at my level, but at the same time, I'm still taking it so serious, just like like I said, he's the best in the world.
No, that's the mind frame that you need, man. Hey, I don't know. I did an interview with Teofimo, and actually, it was a while back. It was actually on the rematch of Tyson Fury when I saw you in Vegas. And one of the last things that he said is he said, "Yeah, I would love to move up to 140." He goes, "Take on Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez, Regis Prograis," and he said at the very end, with Teofimo winning, I mean, it's good for boxing and it's good for business, because now it allows you, because he'd be an overnight success. I mean, he did bust his ass to be where he's at, but bringing that following and that momentum to the 140-pound division, he's a hot fighter. I mean, he's now a mega star. So sharing the ring with a potential mega star like that, it increases the odds of getting that title shot, getting that vacated title shot, because that's what I'm predicting. I'm thinking that the winner's going to vacate all the bouts. I don't see him staying down to defend unless it's just one hell of a fight and these guys just turn around and do it again. But
yeah, right.
But, I mean, you got to be getting goosebumps and thinking, hey, man, bring it all. I mean, just give me my title shot. I know you got business to take care of. What champion or what fighter do you have your eyes on? And I know you told me before, you said, Richard, I just want a title shot. It doesn't matter. But there has to be someone on your radar, not distracting you from 2 weeks from now, but there has to be someone that's pushing you today.
Not really, man. I just want my belt, man. I want my belts back. That's the main thing. I know with the two current champions right now, I won't get a shot at them right now, probably no time soon. But like I said, you never know the landscape of boxing, what's going to happen. So, I mean, it's a lot of names been thrown out there. But I think I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to get me to answer this question. So I think what people want to hear is a fight with Adrian Broner. Well, me and Adrian Broner would be a huge fight, you know. And I think that fight can happen easier than people think it can happen. So I think. But I still, like I said, I still want to be a world champion. It doesn't matter about the names, but I think I think maybe an Adrian Broner fight could be an interesting fight, or somebody else for a belt. But I mean, I don't know, bro. I don't know how the landscape will play itself out.
You know, when you say that, that's almost equal as having a belt. I mean, Canelo. I mean, he vacated the light heavyweight title, and now even Sugar Ray Leonard had that mystique about him. Once you become at a certain level a champion, the belt is secondary. Just the opportunity to fight that man. I mean, you would fight Manny Pacquiao right now today, even if there was no belt on the line, just because of the name, the legend that comes with it. You and Broner, that would be a classic. Styles make fights. I can already see it happening. He's negotiating he wants it at 144. He won't make 140. You don't want 147, and you guys will settle for something to that effect. But I can see that fight taking place, man. And PVC, they can make that fight happen. I can. Would you take that fight with money on the table, or would you take a title shot?
It depends on the money, bro. It all depends on the money. I'm not gonna lie. With that fight, maybe that fight, because I'm pretty sure, it depends on the money. Money is always one of the biggest things. Yeah, you want to be a world champion, but it depends on it. The money is always makes a difference, bro, because the money just trumps. Basically, the money, it doesn't trump everything, but it depends on how much. Like maybe if it's you don't want to throw out numbers, but if it's a little more for Adrian Broner, like a big fight, and off a title shot, then yeah. But if it's double, then shit, you don't take the title. You take the money. At the end of the day, that's what we doing it for the money. Everybody, all the fighters I know, most of them, we come up from dirt. We come up from nothing, so you start, what you want to do it for is money. You want the belts, of course, but you want your bread, you want your paper. So,
well, that's always been decision making for you, Cole. I mean, would you go to China or Japan?
Japan,
they
yeah.
made you a deal.
Money has always been. It's always been the factor. I've never really cared. The only time I've really cared about who I'm fighting is if the money was worth who I was fighting. Like, was it worth the risk? Because there was always substantial risks sometimes with certain opponents, or last minute shit where it's like, dude, that's risky, and it's last minute. How much? 10 grand? Okay, so money makes the world go round. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. So listen, man, I know you're 2 hours ahead of us, man. I mean, if there's anything I haven't covered, or there's anything you want to leave with us, Regis, man, I mean, because I don't want to keep you the whole hour, man, because I know I don't want to be the one. Oh yeah, he was on your show and it affected his workouts or affected any of the above. Serious, man.
Right. I'm looking. I'm on the phone with y'all and I'm closing my eyes and stuff. I gotta go eat and lay down. But nah, man. First off, thanks for having me again. And the main thing is just get the fight or the pay-per-view on Halloween. It's gonna be a hell of a card. Not just my fight, of course, but it's gonna be a hell of a card. They have 4 fights on that card, and it's gonna be a one hell of a card, man. And just get the pay-per-view, man. You're gonna see me do my thing. You're gonna see everybody on the card do their thing. And then of course it's on Halloween, so the Rougarou gonna come out. We know that.
Oh, that's for sure. Hey, I can't let you go real quick. This guy's blowing me up, man. I got all these questions, but I got to get this one in. He just said, hey, this is from your buddy. You gave him the nickname Lalo. He wants to say, hey, he wants to wish you well in training camp, and he wants to see you successful in 2 weeks with your fight. And that's from Lalo's Boxing.
Okay, tell Layla I said what's up, bro. And tell Layla I'ma still whoop his partner ass. Still whoop Ramirez ass if I ever get the chance.
Hey, you heard it from the man himself. You heard it from the Rougarou himself.
Tell Laylo and Rick, tell him I'ma still whoop Ramirez ass if I ever get the chance. But that probably won't never happen. But I still wish everybody the best.
I'm sure you do, but I know you still got some ass kicking to do with Meridian, because I said if you were to share the ring with him, how long will it take, man?
Man, I can't fight Meridian, man. I can't fight him, bro. He actually a cool dude, bro. I done met him and stuff a couple of times. I sick some of my dogs on him and stuff like that before. But he a cool cat, bro. He a real cool dude. It's just, we can't be enemies right now, So, if the fight with Ramirez ever happened, then we'll be enemies again. But he all cool, bro.
Hey, man, only on the Fighter's Voice, man. We make things happen. Hey, we wish you well, and we'll be rooting for you. And believe it, we will be tuning in. And, hey, that fight's already ordered in my book, man. I appreciate you taking time with us, both myself and Cole. And have that dinner and get your rest on, man. And look forward to you entering that ring in 2 weeks, my man.
I bet, bro.
All right, man. See you, Regis. Good luck with the kid, man.
All right, Regis. Talk to you later, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye. There it is there, man. I brought that up simply because at one point in time there was friction. There was friction even with Lalo. And not only are we the platform to go to, the sound bites are just incredible here at the Fighter's Voice, man. And being that said, man, I don't want to tap myself on the shoulder, but hey, man, I mean, he kept it real with Rick, and he kept it real with Lalo. Gave him a little shout out.
He understands the way the game works, and he even said it. He's like, he's not, it's never been personal, but like, if me and Ramirez fight again, I'm sure we'll be at it because that's just how the hype works,
Yeah.
Like we've seen what Rick does. He is a 100%. This is my guy. Go fuck yourself. Like,
hey, I wouldn't have it any other way.
If that's how he's gotten to be the way he is. So Regis gets it. He understands the way the game works.
No, he does. He does. He's a professional, and he knows the way this game works. The way the sport starts to develop, and there's a lot of changing in people. It's all business, man.
It is, and it's not funny because that's not even just a boxing thing.
No,
like for example, so like, okay, so you've got the Connor to the Poirier Connor thing, right?
What's up with that? Is that on? Is it rumor? What's going on? What have you got?
Connor came out and said that they were going to have first he offered the charity fight. He's like, let's have an exhibition fight because he retired.
Was that charity fight? Was he doing it just to slap or mess with UFC, or was he really wanting to do that?
No, I think it was. I think he really wanted to do it, but at the same time, here's how Connor's mind works, and here's how the conversations with Dana White probably go. Hey, I'm not going to come out of retirement. Let's set it up so that you offer me a fight to come out of retirement. That way I can save grace. You guys can get the fight because realistically, I don't know what Poirier's contract status is, regardless of whether it's an exhibition fight or anything. The UFC still has to give him permission if he's under contract to take that fight because that's an MMA fight for another promotion, which is not the UFC, where money will be made. Even if the money's donated to charity, somebody's making fucking money off that show. It might not be all Connor and Dustin, but there's promoters, there's vendors, there's bookies, there's bankers, there's all kinds of people
hotels,
that are just making
revenues, all that.
Exactly. So which Connor's trying to get everybody fucking paid. I don't blame him. He's trying to get everyone paid. But the UFC would have never let that happen. That's what a lot of people don't understand. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors. There's no fucking way the UFC was ever going to let Dustin Poirier go off and fight Conor on an exhibition fight. Why? He's under contract for us. No, the answer is going to be no. So rather than make a big hoopla, make the he said, she said, make the UFC look like the bad guy, which is Conor. Here's the genius in Conor. Conor put the UFC in the corner there and said, look, you can tell everyone that Dustin can't fight for this charity and then nobody can get the money donated to him, but you're the ones that are going to have to say he can't take the fight. And at the end of the day, they would say, yeah, he's under contract. He's not. So instead of doing that, I think realizing the corner they'd been painted into by Conor, or it could have been part of a grand scheme that they were both in on. You know what I mean? Part of the picture, the bigger picture, saying, look, let's just offer you a fight. So now we'll offer Conor a fight to come out of retirement to take. And now that's why I was checking on my phone is because one reported that Dustin had taken it already. He'd agreed to it. Now they were just waiting on Conor, and Conor officially had said, yeah, I'll take it. One report, though, was saying that it was going to be January 21st. Then I had another report say that conflicted with it that came out 54 minutes later saying he accepted on condition, the condition being it happens this year. The problem I had with that whole this year thing is Conor was already trying to point out things like, oh, well, this card took a hit and this card took a hit. I want to be trying to say well, this card lost Cody Garbrandt. Well, yeah, but they fucking gained Alex Perez. That title fight's still happening and it's still a top ranked guy. It's not like they're pulling some, okay, Joe, I love you. Please don't kill me. Okay. Disclaimer on that one.
Okay.
It's not similar to when they said, hey, Soto, you're going to fight Dillashaw tomorrow, and it was weigh-ins. It's not like you get a last-minute replacement from a guy who was on the prelims, who I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Joe deserved that title shot, having never fought for them before, having not been. He had done enough in the sport and fought enough people that if they did that, no one really argued or batted an eye. They were like, "Fuck yeah, I'll watch that." But because he's a prelim guy, it's a little different. This is Alex Perez. He's already easily breaking the top 5 or 4, easily already, probably 5 to 3rd. So to have a guy that's already breaking the top 5 and just fighting dudes and putting on good performances and just going for broke on these dudes, and he's come all the way fucking up from camo. I mean, he's literally gone from a camo amateur to now fighting for UFC gold. He has literally gone from
Lemoore,
point A to
the
point
audition
B,
of
Z.
fighting in the house of the UFC, was a regular at Lemoore.
Exactly. So he's gone from A to Z.
Regular on The Fighter's Voice.
Exactly. So watching his career go and grow from where it is now to where he's about to be it's awesome, especially for the simple fact that I could say I actually know the dude. So it's fun in that sense that I got to watch somebody actually achieve that. Like, they started with the goal of, I'm going to start at camo, I'm going to start in the amateurs, I'm going to make it all the way. And he's like this fucking close now to getting there. So having that fight makes sense, but having like the Poirier fight. So
now, he was just next in line.
Kind of anyway.
Next
Yeah, he was kind of in line anyway. That I think if you know, maybe the plan was have him fight one more time and the winner of that takes the next title shot, or maybe you just get the winner of Garbrandt and Figueroa, which would have made sense too. So no matter what, he was probably in line for the next spot anyway, unless something really dramatic happened. So this fight makes sense. So I'm okay with that. So for Conor to say, oh well, let's do it on this one, like you're saving the fucking card. Well, you wouldn't be. You'd be a great addition to the card. Sure, but that title fight is still a fight everyone's going to want to watch. They have no idea, I think, how big the draw they just pulled by putting Alex on a title fight like that. Like the viewership draw they're going to pull for that is going to be fucking insane.
It's going to be crazy.
Dude, it's going to be a joke. It's going to be crazy. So I think...
Bro, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it, because if you think about it, the dude was just here in freaking studio. Now,
a while ago,
no, I don't mean to interrupt you. KP, you already know, whether it happens today, tomorrow, or the next day, people that show up on the show, they get their blessing and then some. It may not come as soon as they leave that door, but it's on the way. And I've told it since day one, this show is blessed.
Yeah, no, and we were fortunate. We had Alex kind of chilling on the couch one time. We did like a casting couch thing with him almost there.
Yeah.
But we're working on getting him before that fight hits. So we've got a little bit of time. We've got like middle to late November, I think, is when that card is. So we've got a little time. I've talked to him. He's letting me know what availability he has, which is a certain time of the day of the week, which is fine. We just got to work around it. So
if it's something that we have to adapt, let's
we'll figure something out. We'll put it together. We'll get some time with him before he goes for that title fight. Alex has always been cool to us. He's always been very open,
very educated man too when it comes to the sport. I mean, he knows his fighters from every division, every weight class. He knows their strengths, their weakness. He's a student of the game, man.
He's involved. Well, he's a perfect example of like a full immersion. Like, he's garnered as enough information as he needs to about the sport and why it matters, because it's not like he's gathering this intel and this information so that he can use it against his opponent one day, because majority of the information he has isn't necessarily on opponents or people he'll fight. It's just knowledge of what they're doing. What's this guy doing that's getting him this paycheck in the sport so much? How is he running it? What's he doing that's getting his attention? It feels him, man. It just feel to him. So Conor is probably going to end up. They're shooting for that November or the December card is where they're trying to land that. So that's a fight I think will happen. Like I said, the bigger picture was Conor getting the UFC to ask him to come out of retirement by offering him that fight. Yeah. And that's how he's going to paint it. Oh, you fucking came back to daddy. You need me back. You couldn't do it without me. And that's fine. That's feeding Conor's attention, get-go. So, but Khabib's not on that train anyway.
No.
Connor's in a position of begging for fights almost.
He really can't stand Khabib.
Well, he went as far as to say that
Khabib really can't stand him.
No, he
doesn't want him earning $1 off his name. Nothing.
He said he would turn down coaching another season of Tough against Conor.
I read that.
Even if they had offered him 5. He said he didn't give a shit. Not giving Conor the attention that would bring him is where he's going to hurt Conor. And I get it, and that makes sense now. He's like, I won't fight him yet. He has to let him go earn it.
Talking about stuffing a shoot. You know what I mean?
Pretty much.
A takedown. Talk about stuffing it.
You know, and what happens is when the UFC goes, oh, well, he's the only guy for you to fight, everyone's going to automatically disagree. They're going, no, there's other dudes. Why didn't you have him fight Ferguson? Why didn't you have him fight? He's going to fight Gaethje as it is, coming up next week. So it's you know, that'll I mean, everyone's worrying about shit that I'd be like, dude, let's see what happens with him and Gaethje first.
Yeah, I
then
agree.
let's worry about what he said, she said, Conor this, Conor that. Let's worry about that. Picture is so shattered right now. We won't even worry about that one. But Conor, like you were talking about Mikey fighting Pacquiao, right? Conor's still on that train too. He's still saying that this Dustin Poirier fight was a warm-up, step-up fight to get ready for the Pacquiao fight. And I'm like, that's just not going to happen. Like, it's just not. It's just now. Maybe you can confirm this for me. I saw something that said that Pacquiao had recently signed with Conor's management team, Paradigm.
I'd have to talk to Gibbons on that one.
Yeah, so give me some feedback on that, because if that ends up being true, that he did sign with that entertainment mogul team and that production team, now
Then
you've got
then
now
it's-
there's a
then
little
it's
bit
in the
more
works.
now there's a little more thought process that, okay, now they're starting to build together a relationship so they can get money talks
To
going.
me, that would make the most sense as an exhibition. To be honest with you, because when
That
he
fight doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
Well, when he was going to fight Floyd, there was that. Okay, well, Floyd hasn't been in a real fight in a while.
Hmm.
He's sent down. Pacquiao's a different animal, man. I mean, he's just.
That's what I'm saying, is Pacquiao's not going to carry him for 5 or 6
No.
rounds and go,
No.
all right, now it's time to finish. No, Pacquiao's going to come out there and
No.
go, I'm just going to try to fuck you up in round one.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'll feel you out in round one. But the second he realizes he has range, speed, foot angling, Conor looked really good at 170, but his footwork has never looked as good as a guy who's been doing it as long as Pacquiao. Pacquiao's going to turn on a fucking dime, and Conor's going to eat it right in the first round, and that's it.
Probably right now, with the exception of Lomachenko, still the best footwork in boxing.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Footwork is insane. So when you got a guy like Conor, who he's had tons of time to improve his boxing, yeah, but you got a guy who's lived his entire combat sport life in that sport. That'd be like a reverse of a boxer coming over and only knowing boxing, saying that he's going to come in and fuck up, you know, Jose Aldo or Max Holloway or something.
That's
It's
like
dude,
saying that fight's going to take place inside a cage.
Yeah.
I like Manny, but oh man, he's going to get eaten up.
yeah, if that fight took
Yeah.
place with cage rules,
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, well, Conor's probably going to kill him, because Conor's going to come up and blast his fucking leg and catch him with a left hook for his damages.
Yeah.
Conor would carry him in that fight. It'd be like a 5-round exhibition. Conor would be like, okay, well, let's fuck around for a round or two.
Yeah.
Let's just jab. I'm going to shoot a fake. Let me see your sprawl. You know, and then that'd be it. You know, he'd finish him before the end of the fight, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't think that's going to fight, but we are going to probably see Poirier and Conor. It'll probably be before the end of the year is where I think they're going to try to squeeze it in. Khabib, like I said, he has no love for Conor whatsoever. Knows how he's trying to play the game and wants to get at him. Cosmot's been, no one really wants to fight him. Dude's been fucking people up, and I don't blame them. But he says he would love to fight Nick, maybe in like December. Says Nick's been they've been looking for a fight for Nick, and I mean, I'd like to see that one too. They both got lanky arms. They both got knockout power from a distance. It'd be a good fight. Nate hasn't been off as long as he's been off since before the other previous Conor fight he had, where he took that long big layoff and then had a big layoff and came back and fight Pettis. So
You know what? I haven't noticed even a boxer that's been on the shelf for a while come back and show ring rust. The Diaz brothers, they don't show ring rust at all. Period.
Yeah.
I guess because they live in the gym and they're always doing something. They're working out, whether they're riding their bikes, swimming from Alcatraz to the land, and just they're always in great condition for the most part.
So I think, and I misspoke. It's not Nate that he's looking for. It's Nick. So I would imagine that'd be a good fight for Nick to come back at.
The elder brother.
Yeah, because he was looking pretty lean too. So they're definitely looking. I already know that the UFC's been talking to them about, okay, well, how do you fit in to this picture? I mean, just have the Diaz brothers fighting again actively for the UFC, dude. That opens the door for so many cool story arcs and fights, and that's what it really matters about. It's entertainment. You got to have some story arcs. So that said, that's about it for news. You know, we had the UFC fight night over the weekend. You know, we had home fight. We had Barboza and dude Buckley with that fucking spin kick. Holy shit.
That's crazy. Everybody's going to be trying that. And
Dude.
there was nothing else for him to do. The momentum was there, so he kept the momentum going.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what you do when they catch your leg. You either get your leg away, you kick it forward and get close to them with a clinch, sock them, or pull your leg away. But this dude just said, nope, I'm going to go right with it. And it's like he stopped for a sec, thought about it, and said, okay, it's there, and went for it. Usually that's like a body shot. That dude just ate it all he just took that shit to the neck.
He didn't expect it coming.
No,
expect to come
didn't expect that.
Used his-
Plus, you
used-
got both hands.
Used his own leverage, used it against him. Mm-hmm. Pushed off him.
Yeah, pushed off his
that's-
face.
Man,
But
my
let's
God.
see. So Sandhagen stopped Moraes. I honestly didn't really. I didn't expect it, but I wasn't surprised after watching some of the recap of it. He had lots of lead uppercuts going in there. He used his height advantage as a really good advantage there. Barboza finally got back in the win column. Wasn't a finish, but it was a decision, which is fine. It's not great, but it's what it is. We got Big Al's fighting tomorrow, though.
Tomorrow.
We got that
I
Bellator
believe
card
it's,
coming up.
Yeah, 4:30, I believe. Oh, 4:15. He's the first fight.
Yeah, he's going to be the
well.
first fight. So we're going to cover Bellator real quick since it's tomorrow. So we'll cover him first. It was Big Al, like I said, he returns. Everybody knows he's had the leg break. He's been rehabbing and stuff. He looks way better than he's looked, I think, in his past. His past
agree with
performance.
you.
He looks way more shape. Looks like he's got a diet and everything on. I was kind of looking into his opponent a little bit. I know he doesn't really look into him too much.
Yeah.
But I looked into him a little bit. It's not a bad return fight. If I had to pick a return fight for my guy who had just come off a serious injury and needed to get his first fight back and get his feet back under him, get some wins going, get some traction going, it'd be a good fight. I mean, the dude's a Bellator bet, but his 7-fight record, but he's like 3-4. Most of his fights have pretty much been in Bellator.
It's his hometown where the fight's taking place.
Yeah.
Remember Al shot
Yeah. He's going to be fighting against a hometown guy. I mean, but this is a guy that's got some experience. He's got like over twice as much experience as Al. Al's got 3 fights, 1 or 2. Spent a lot of his time in the amateur circuit. So the 3-4 record, though, you got a guy that's pro, and his records. Whenever you fight a guy that's got a losing record, which means your losses are larger than your wins, that's a losing record opponent. That's not necessarily means he's a bad fighter. That just means he's just not consistent. That's all. Maybe he's kind of more of a journeyman in the sport. Maybe he's not fully committed to it. Maybe he is. Maybe this isn't the sport for him. Maybe he gets lucky. I don't know. But generally, when you're fighting a guy that's 3-4, they're dangerous though too. Guys with losing records are fucking dangerous because they really don't have anything to lose.
No, they don't.
It's like if they lose, so fucking what? If they win, okay, cool, they got to win. They can move forward.
Or they just want to put a good account of themselves.
Yeah,
up
they
to
just
get
want to
that
put a good
callback.
show on. Yeah, they I don't give a fuck if I win. I don't. This is just fun to me. Like a poker player with a lot of money.
I'm not going to jail after this fight.
Yeah,
That type of stuff.
yeah. So Al's got. I think he's in a good spot to really put on a good performance. He's been given. I don't think he's been given an opponent. I think he's been matched with an opponent that he shows up to fight. I think he can beat. If he doesn't show up ready, he won't beat the opponent. The guy's got experience on him. He's got double the fight experience. So there's a risk there. The guy wants to win.
I didn't want to ask him that, but I mean, Cole, how tough was it coming back from an injury, like where you can use your right arm again, or what was it, your collarbone before?
It's pretty.
you want to test it out again.
It's case to case for fighter to fighter. It's going to be different. Some guys will take a bad injury and they're gun shy from there on out. Some guys will get knocked out really bad and they're gun shy from there on out. Didn't even get anything broken, just got knocked the fuck out, and they're like, "Ooh, I'm not swinging for the fences anymore. I'm leaving myself open."
Yeah.
So there's that fear. We'll know after the first minute. Like if we're going to see if Al throws that kick or not.
Usually starts off doing that.
Yeah, so which I'm not necessarily a fan of. That's not nothing against him. This is just fighting in general. I feel that you should be leading with your hands. You should never throw kicks without setups. Just throwing a kick without a setup. If that first kick doesn't land and exploit an opening that you just exploited,
exactly.
Then why did you throw that kick? And this is nothing, just like I said, take Al out of the picture. This is just in
Al
general.
has great hands too.
Exactly, and he's got long arms.
Stay tall.
Long
Use
arms.
your lankiness. Use
Stay
your
up tall,
advantages.
turn those fucking hips, use that extension, get him going backwards, and then kick that leg out from under him when his weight's off it, when he's going backwards. But to throw a kick right out the gate, unless you saw an opening and it lands right out the gate, you're like, yeah, see, I already saw your opening. I can get it. You're getting in dude's head. So we'll see. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be the first fight on the card. It's going to be on Showtime. So it's going to be their first run. It's not Coker's first time with CBS, but it's going to be Bellator's first time with CBS. Strikeforce had an ongoing relationship until the Diaz Mayhem incident. So that was
CBS. They're coming back in the mix because they're negotiating a deal to bring more boxing to CBS as well.
Yeah, they're trying to. I almost say they're trying to corner the market on like basic television kind of like network for combat sports, like what Spike was doing for. I think they're trying to be like that for combat sports. CBS, you know what I mean? It kind of goes well. It rolls off the tongue. So I can understand what they're going for on that. Having the only TV deal is a good thing too.
Yeah.
That, like I said, we're going to see a very different landscape when COVID goes away.
I'm looking
provided
forward to
ever
it
does.
Thursday too, man. Thursday.
A Thursday, yeah. I'm telling you right now, my opinion at least is that based on my experience, that was a casino decision. That was not CBS.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was not Bellator. That was the casino.
I was about to
going
mention those are the
Thursday.
days of Tachi Palace, man. Thursdays.
Yeah, whenever you did a show at a casino, it was generally on an off night because reality is they want to see data. They want to see numbers. We know we're going to have a Friday, Saturday night. Fuck
Yeah, that's
COVID,
automatic,
whatever.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But to have it on a Thursday will actually show an increased traffic of gaming hours. That's just science. It's just math. We want to see a gaming hour increase. We do it on a Thursday. Why? Because there's nothing else to do on a Thursday. And trust me, I've been out there.
Hey, they were granted an arena to hold this competition, so they're going to take it.
And I'm sure,
especially right now.
Yeah, I'm sure the Mohegan Tribe is jumping at anything sports wise that they can get in their venues right now. So, but you've got headlining that. You've got Cyborg versus Blankow. I'm gonna probably go with Cyborg on this one, just because like Cyborg's on a 2-fight win streak. She fought
shredded too, man, on her weigh-ins.
Yeah, she looked pretty. Well, she always does. You know, she always looks and she comes from shoebox stuff. She always look in really good shape. But she's beat Judd. Judd is her opponent's like kryptonite. Like her opponent, Blankow's lost twice to Judd, and she just beat Judd's ass. So to know that she's already beat up the chick that's beat you twice, that's got to be a pretty big mind fuck. Blankow's on a 3-fight streak. 57% of her 7 losses have come via sub. So her ground game's not all that good. But when you look at her striking as far as wins go, like 54% of her wins are by knockout. So she's not afraid to trade, but it seems like her ground game is where her Achilles heel is kind of falling.
Well, I could see Cyborg using those hands because she was in Robert Garcia's boxing academy and leading up to this fight, and she was sparring with Raquel Miller, another female world champion.
That I would imagine she's definitely looking to knock Blankow out on this one. Yeah. Probably not worried about the shot because she knows Blankow's ground game is weak, and I mean it's fucking Cyborg on the ground. So good luck. After that, you've got
the main event. I mean, she wants to put on a show.
Yeah, well, she just wants to retain her belt. I think Cyborg's got the belt right now, so she just wants to retain her belt, and she's going to do it. I picked, like I said, before we even looked at who she was fighting, I was like Cyborg by fucking whatever she wants, which is pretty much how I see this fight going. Especially with the data that you gave me off her training out of Garcia. She's clearly looking to bang this one out in the first round. So after that, you got Patricky, you got Fiera Pitbull. He's fighting now. This has been a weird one. He's fighting Jairo the Realist. I'm still going to go with Pitbull on this one over the Realist, but Realist is he's on a 4-fight win streak right now. He's making his return to Bellator. I know a lot of people think this is his debut, but he fought for Bellator back in 2016. It was looked like it was a 1-fight deal. It was a decision win, and then he moved on to other organizations. He spent a lot of his time with LFA, with Ed Soares' organization, like you say, Fight Alliance. So, and they're pretty active too. I don't really know if they have that big of a TV deal yet, though. So I think they're going to try to make a move. So by January or February, somewhere that day, expect to see LFA announce like some TV deal, because I know they're on UFC Fight Pass. Yeah. But I don't know if that's doing anything for them as far as expanding their market and their brand and getting their fighters known. So expect them to be looking at maybe breaking out and getting their own stuff.
That's like a AAA baseball team, man.
Kind of, yeah. They want to get into the mix, and now's the time to do it. They've got the money. If they do have the money, at least now's the time to do it because they need to get in there. Same thing with Combate. They need to get in there because if not, those without TV deals, they're going to suffer. They're just going to suffer. So, but anyway, back to the fight. You got Pitbull. He's on a 7-fight win streak that had gotten snapped during the finals of the Risen tournament. That was, I want to say there was Japan rules, and he ended up winning one of his fights by like a soccer kick, and then he ended up losing the finals. Now, mind you, he fought twice that night. So it was the finals of a tournament. Yeah, so he probably fought once and then came back and then fought again that night for the finals, and that's where he lost. So I think the rules kind of favor Pitbull. Like I think Pitbull could actually benefit from going over to Japan and fighting regularly for Risen because, like I said, just his first fight was a win by a knockout stomp by a head kick. So the fact that he picked up on that rule advantage right out the gate tells me that he's not looking to get on the ground with people out there. And that's really what the rule's there. If you can get kicked in the face on the ground is not where you want to be. So with that said, though, I'm still going to go with Pitbull in this one, even though Realist is on a 4-fight win streak. I think that the level of competition of who Pitbull has fought is just, I think it's a little higher breed pedigree. So I'm going to go with Pitbull on that one. And yeah. Those are the 3 spots I'm looking at. Like I said, I just want to look at the first 2, give us an idea. Remember, that's tomorrow on CBS, so this is kind of a quick recap of it. Other than that, you've got UFC Fight Night on Saturday. That's another UFC. Like I said, they're just pumping them out. I don't know how I feel about that though. Like I said, it's they need to do it, but at the same time, we're not really getting a chance to follow. I'm thinking these are the guys
that are all on contract, and we got to get them.
That's
fights,
what I
man.
said. Yeah, they're
we don't want to face what's going on in DAZN. We don't want to face
Exactly.
that. We don't want to be up against
Well,
the ropes, so to speak.
I don't think it's a fear of what's happening to DAZN. I think it's the fact that, remember,
Well,
you have
no,
the-
I'm talking about being sued for a certain amount of fights.
No, because that's the thing is the
call
UFC
it an
doesn't
act of
operate
God.
that way.
Okay.
The UFC doesn't have contracts where it's like, hey, we'll guarantee you 3 fights. We'll get to those fucking fights when we get there. No joke. Like seriously, I've
Yeah.
seen guys sit on the shelf for a year and not get offered a fight, and they won their last fight. And it's like, well, the UFC, I'm on a 3-fight contract, cool, but there's no specifics of when they have to use those fights. That's where when the Ultimate Fighter first came out and people were like, oh, dude, I'm gonna get this 100K contract. It sounded really cool, but when you realize that there's no specific,
It's nice for pictures holding the big check.
yeah, but there was no set amount of fights that they had to offer you. So if they can get 10 fights out of you for that 100K, they're going to milk the fuck out of it. So
Yeah.
same concept here is they've got the Contender Series. They've got Dana White's Contender Series. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to get all their last end contract fight negotiation obligations out of the way. So once they've got these fight out, if you don't do good, they're going to cut you. And they're going to replace you with one of the Contender
the
Series
good thing
guys.
is they're keeping their guys busy, man. I mean, if you were a sports agent and you had 4-year fighters, and all 4 of you guys are keeping they're keeping them busy, hey, you're in Disneyland.
Yeah, but and it is. But that's what I say is a lot of guys don't realize that being busy is risky right now because they're looking to cut the fat.
Yeah.
They'll offer you fight after fight, but if you're not winning and you lose one, they're probably going to cut you if you've already been on a losing streak. Right now, guys, like I said, anybody with more than 2 losses in a row right now, you're on the block.
Yeah, definitely.
Period. Just
Definitely.
fucking period. Because they've got the Contender Series guys coming in, and he's just handing out contracts
Yeah.
to these guys that are being watched on their first fights in the UFC. So now fans are following them. You're on a 2-fight
The
losing
days
streak.
of I'm only signing the win who wins the big one. Those days are
Yeah,
over.
those days are fucking gone. Even though he said he's going to bring back the Ultimate Fighter, at this point, it's like, why? Either do the Contender Series or do the Ultimate Fighter. Don't do both. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. So, but this Saturday you've got UFC. You've got Ortega versus Jung,
Now
Korean
that's
Zombie.
his first fight back, right?
This will be Ortega's first fight back. Yeah,
After the injury,
he
after he
had
lost
the
the,
loss. He got not. Yeah, he
title
got
shot.
Yeah, after Holloway whipped his fucking ass back in
from,
19.
from top to bottom.
Yeah, so it's going to be almost 2 years since we've seen him fight
And then he
last.
had that injury.
And then he had the knee injury, and that was what postponed this
Yeah.
fight the first time last year. The knee injury sidelined this particular fight, so they had to hold it back. So he's knocked out Frankie Edgar. He knocked out Clay Guida. He subbed Cub, and that looked really good on paper at first. He was just
In
on a
Fresno.
tear. Yeah, he subbed
In
Cub at
Fresno.
Save Our Center. Yeah, and it just looked really good on paper, but when you sat back and looked at it, it's like, all right, Frankie Edgar's kind of changing weight classes and stuff. He wasn't really sure where he
Got
wanted
him
to
in the middle
be.
of transitioning.
Yeah, Cub wasn't really doing the best. He followed all these gatekeeper guys and looked really well doing it, but he was just working his way up. So it kind of was an illusion. And then he goes in there and Holloway just
Well, I
fucked him up.
I think the title shot was well deserved. It's just
but was it though? Because you got to remember, like, just because you're on a win streak, when you look at who you're
it,
beating,
it was the momentum leading up to it. It
And
was,
there was the hype.
It was the following. Exactly.
it was the momentum hype.
It was the,
That's
it was
what got
the
it to him.
following. But man, talk about man. He just coasted right through.
Mm-hmm.
Gave him a lesson.
And then Jung's on a 2-fight win streak. He knocked out Edgar, and that was more recent in December 19. So, I mean, you're knocking out a wrestler. Nothing against Edgar. He's a fucking guy's been around forever. He's a fucking legend. But you're knocking out a wrestler. That's not
Tough as nails.
It's not that big of a thing to get excited about. You know what I mean? When you're knocking out a guy whose biggest game plan is bringing you down and imposing his will on you. I got Korean Zombie on this one. I think Ortega's layoff has been too long. I think he's going to have a little, and combine that with the unorthodox striking of Jung, the way he bounces around and shit. I mean, he's got like that spinning back elbow at like the end of the round, and just all kinds of crazy shit that he does.
And when's
And
this fight taking place? This Saturday?
This is going to be Saturday. This is
Wow.
this is on the Saturday
I'm gonna tune
card.
into that one. That's gonna be a good fight.
This is the main for that card. So
That's a badass name. Korean
I
Zombie.
think Jung's going to fuck him up.
That's a badass nickname, man.
Korean Zombie?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude, that guy's got a great story too. He had to take time off.
That's the only fighter I've ever seen Dana White wear a shirt.
well,
Dana
yeah.
White was rocking that shirt.
Dude, he was on a tear, and then he said, I have to retire. And everybody was like, what? He had to go and do his mandatory service in the Korean Army. That was a thing that they have to do in their country. It's a mandatory thing. And he was like, I'd rather do it now while I'm still semi-young in my career, get it out of the way, versus having to take a 2-year off my shelf later in my career where it might not be the best idea.
Yeah.
I can get away with doing it
best
early
time.
because I can always come back to fighting. You can't go fighting for like a decade, 8 years, a decade, and then go do military service and expect to come back to, it doesn't work that way. So, but I expect with all those variables in play that I think Jung's going to probably just end up fucking Ortega up in like the first or second round. I expect a stoppage. I don't think, definitely not
Now,
a
is that
decision.
the main event?
That's the main event for Saturday, yeah.
I'm going to tune into that one, man.
And then you've got Andrade versus Chukagian. Chukagian? Is that Chukagian? Chukagian. I'm fucking that name all up, dude. All these
Better you
fighters
than me.
they're just going to beat my ass in the street one day. But Andrade, she's on a 2-fight loss streak. She's 2-2, though, on her last
Regis
4.
Prograis. It's spelled with an S. It's Prograis.
Prograis, yeah.
So that S will get you, too.
That's true. And then Chukagian, she's 3-1 her last 4, but she's coming off a decision win in May of this year, so she's fought a little more recent. I'm going to go with Chukagian on that one just because if you look at their last 4, she's 3-1, Andrade's 2-2.
Man, lately, these women have been badasses, man.
They haven't, because they've been kind of going at each other. Well, I mean, like I said, dude, everyone's on the fucking chopping block right now. If you're not brandable, you're not marketable, and you're on a losing streak, they're gonna cut you until you go get fights somewhere else, which is gonna be hard.
Yeah.
The COVID is literally creating an unexpected ripple of a monopoly effect.
I'm curious to see what Zoila reached out to us and talking about, hey, she had a good time. She wants to come back here and
She's got something
share
coming
some
up.
news. She was in Miami without giving away too much. And that always makes you feel good when someone appreciates the show and just having a good time.
So then for all you little Easter eggers, they're going to start looking at what promotions have. If you wanted to find out before we did, this is how I would do it. I would try to find out who's got venues locked up in Florida over the next 2 months for an MMA event, and what organizations have scheduled Florida fights. I would be willing to bet there are some out there. I've been trying to get somebody a fight. I tried to get them a debut fight with Combate, but their fights were shut down until then. And like I said, that's an organization that's going to hurt without TV
we're going to
deals.
find out exactly what's going on. I mean, next Wednesday we have, Tony Padilla, the matchmaker for Combate Medical.
Yeah, so we can get an idea to pick his brain and find out where they're at on their
list.
Yeah, because I know they're shooting for August, September.
They're supposed to have one in Miami.
There we go. So now a couple pieces are kind of falling in the puzzle. So it might be something fun. We don't know yet. We'll find out, like I said, when we bring him on next week. But I was talking to him a couple months back, trying to get somebody a debut spot, female debut spot on Combate, and he's like, "Well, we were planning to do one in September, October, but his exact words were, we got to see what the landscape is, and that's just the business talk for. We have no idea what the fuck's going to be happening, so let's talk later." Yeah, which is fine. You have to understand that. So now that. Honestly, realistically, it sucks for him because he's not leaving. He's not going to leave here without at least talking to me about getting the debut spot for this person for him. They'll be like, "Dude, when's your next show? Let's just pencil them in there now. It's a debut spot. Put him on the bottom of the card, bro. Just get him in the door.
Make it happen.
I just want to get her in the door so that we can start getting her fights because she's been putting in a lot of training this person, just putting in a lot of time with the right team, the right camp, trying to get this debut fight going. She wants to start her career in MMA, and she's been wanting to do it for a long time now. It's just been right now. She couldn't have really been able to take it seriously at the worst time. Does that make sense? Right when she was about to, she had jumped on that boat of I'm going to go. This is what I'm going to try and do. She started doing what was necessary, and then COVID hit. So it shut that shit all down. So now it's hard to get her a debut fight, and it's going to be hard to get people debut fights now. It's just the way it's going to be.
I mean, it's slim and none.
Pretty much.
Debut. I got these other guys I got to keep busy.
Slim and none.
Yeah. Hey, well, that's our time, man. Hey, thanks for joining us here on The Fighter's Voice. Kick-Ass Podcast. I want to thank our guest, Regis Prograis. You can see him in action. Showtime Boxing Pay-Per-View. He'll be on the undercard of Tank Davis and Leo Santa Cruz. That's going to be a blockbuster fight, and it's good to see the Rougarou back in action on Halloween. And he shared with us earlier that, hey, his wife's getting ready to hatch, and we just pray that it happens before his fight and not on the day of his fight. And next Monday coming back, we have Evan Korn, executive with Top Rank Boxing. He's going to give us his recap on the showdown this Saturday. Man, I can't wait. Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez are going to give us the whole breakdown. He'll be with us Tuesday, and then Wednesday we have Tony Padilla, the matchmaker for Combate Americas. And like Cole said, we're going to pick his brain and find out what's going on in Miami, especially all of a sudden Zoila.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. The piece of the puzzle kind of makes sense.
And I noticed there's been a rekindling, because they kind of went their own ways, but then they've been, sharing posters.
Hashtagging each other. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so once I saw the co-op hashtag and stuff, I'm like, okay, there it is. Somebody said, "Hey, we're gonna lose a commodity here." I think is what happened, and there was a discussion of, "Hey, we're gonna lose an invested commodity."
Match her up, give her what she wants. Let's make this happen.
Well, I don't know if necessarily give her what it wants, But
what she wants is a fight.
Yeah,
yeah.
But let's give her.
There's been 3 fallouts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's make good on this and actually show her that we do appreciate her. Maybe, and we don't know. Like I said, we'll get a chance to talk to him. But
no, the man himself.
Take your guess.
Yeah. Hey guys, it is what it is, man. I appreciate your followers and your subscribers, and thank you, man. I mean, the YouTube channel's it's getting there, and I appreciate all the followers, all the subscribers, man, and everybody that supports the Fighter's Voice, man. And hey, Fresno, California, it's a wrap as always. Thumbs up for Richie.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week.
Remember.
It's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, Cole Escovedo, the special guests, and all the crew right here at the Kick-Ass Podcast, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for...
Hey, KP, I need you to stream it so that I can send it out on Facebook, because I'm not getting it yet. Oh, okay, gotcha. So anyway, we're waiting for my brother, and as we wait, we're going to get started moving forward, because I want to make sure that we maximize as much time together as we can. Let me see if I can get this going. All right, so as usual, we'll talk about voting first. So everybody in California should have received their ballot in the mail already. If you have not received your ballot in the mail, then you need to contact your local county elections office and make them aware that you have not received your ballot. They will probably encourage you to go down to wherever their office is, either re-register or do whatever it is you need to get done. They can give you your ballot right then, and you can vote right then and there on the spot here in California. So please make sure you get that done. There's not a lot of stuff. There's not a lot of candidates that's on people's ballots. I think the heaviest ballot here in the Fresno area that I saw had six candidates on it, 6 races on it. So there's not a whole bunch to do as far as the candidates. The big part, the heavy lift, is with the propositions. And so I'll get to that in a little bit here in a moment. But before that, when you get your ballot, when you complete it, there are 3 ways for you to be able to return it. First of all, you can seal your ballot, sign the back of it in the big red box. You can put it in the U.S. Postal Service. So any post office, any U.S. postal box that they have, you can put it in there. Does not need a stamp. Postage is paid, and you vote it. If you're not comfortable with the United States Postal Service handling your mail, then the other option you have is the drop boxes. And there's drop boxes. There's 70 drop boxes all throughout Fresno County. I'm not sure what the number is in all counties throughout California, but every county has drop boxes, and it says official drop boxes on it. There's been this controversy going on right now with some people from the Republican Party here in Fresno County, Los Angeles County, Orange County, that was putting out fake boxes. And so here in Fresno County, it was an issue, but it wasn't a major issue because Republicans who were doing this basically just used a cardboard file folder box, cut a hole in the top of it, put some insignias around it, trying to make it look official. It was collecting some ballots. But in Orange County and Los Angeles County, they actually had replicas that look very similar to what the County Office of Education's or County Office of Elections were putting out for people to get their ballots. So as part of a safeguard with that, for the next 2 Saturdays, so this Saturday, which I believe is the 16th and the 23rd, I will be meeting, actually that's not right, the 17th. What is Saturday? Saturday is the 17th. I'm sorry, the Saturday the 17th and Saturday the 24th of October, I will be meeting voters at the Kearney Palms Shopping Center, which is on the corner of Fresno and C Street. I'll meet you there at their Dropbox location, which is official. If you have any questions about your ballot, I'll be able to help you and guide you and give you some information, as well as you can either put your ballot in that particular Dropbox there. If you're not comfortable with that, then you can give your ballot to me. I will sign for it, give you a receipt for it, and then I will get it turned into the elections office on Monday when it opens. So that's going to be going on for the next 2 Saturdays, Saturday the 17th and Saturday the 24th from 10 to 11 at the Kearney Palms Shopping Center at the intersection of Fresno Street and C Streets. Okay, so please come by there. I'm doing this to kind of alleviate some of the confusion that's going on with the mess that they're doing with putting these unofficial voting box or voting drop boxes up. And so please, again, Saturday the 17th and Saturday the 24th from 10 to 11 at the Kearney Palm Shopping Center, corner of Fresno and C Street. Please come by and meet me there, and I'll be able to help you and assist you with casting your ballot. Lastly, the last way that you'll be able to turn in your ballots is through what's called the vote centers. And the vote centers are one-stop shopping for all your voting needs. You can actually register that day. You can change your registration. You can get a new ballot. If you lost your ballot, don't know where it is, your ballot got damaged because somebody spilled coffee on it, all you got to do is go into any vote center, tell them who you are. They'll look you up in the system. They will give you a new ballot. You will complete that ballot right then and there and vote inside of the vote center. And there are 70 vote centers across the county as well. There's actually a site. KP, am I able to share my screen or no? I can't hear you, but anyway, if I'm able to share my screen, I'll take that back. Everybody needs to go to elect Darren Miller. So elect DARENMILLER at gmail.com. If you will send me an email, I can send you a link where all you have to do is punch in your address or your zip code, and in Fresno County, it will show you exactly where your closest vote center or your drop box is to you, so that you don't have to go running around looking for that and worry about going to the wrong spot. So again, that's elect, ELECT, Darren, DAREN, Miller, MILLER, at gmail.com. That's my election email, and I'm willing to help anyone answer any of those questions and provide you with that information. So backtracking, everybody should have their ballot. Everybody in California should have your ballots in hand. If you do not have your ballot, please contact your county elections office to find out what's going on so that you can get re-registered or get your registration updated so that you can vote. You can return your ballot in 3 ways. You can put it in the United States Postal Service. You can take it to one of the drop boxes, one of the 70 drop boxes that's available here in Fresno County, or you can wait for the vote centers to open. And I didn't say this earlier. Vote centers will be open for 4 days. So all of the vote centers across the county will open on October 31st, Halloween, which is Saturday, and they will be open until the day of the election on Tuesday, November 3rd. So please, they will be open either on Sunday. Most of the sites are open from 8 to 5. There's a couple of sites that are open from 9 to 6. Some of the vote centers will have Spanish speakers, will have Hmong speakers, will have Punjabi speakers, and there's a couple of other languages as well that not all of the vote centers, but some of the vote centers strategically placed will have translation and interpretation availabilities for those citizens who speak another language or are more comfortable in another language. So please make sure you get that done. Secondly, the big part that's going to be on your ballot when you see it is there are 12 propositions, and these are state propositions. So we are voting along with everybody else in the state of California to either approve or to reject these propositions. And so I have my list, but I wanted to talk about 4 of them in particular, actually 5 of them in particular. So I am voting yes on 15, 16, 17, and 18. 15 has to do with it is the community and schools first proposition. A yes vote on that will tax corporations and businesses that generate over $3 million of income in a single year. They will be affected by this, and so it'll be affecting people such as Disneyland, Magic Mountain, Budweiser, some of the huge corporations here in California that have been here since 1978 and still paying property taxes at a 1978 rate. Exempted from the tax raises are homeowners, so home property owners are exempted from this, as well as most agriculture. is exempted from the tax raises. And so when you hear these provisions about the homeowners' taxes are going up and agriculture is going to be cleaned out because of these, because of passage of 15, that's not true. There's about $11 billion that they're projecting is going to be raised from this taxes. 60% of the generated funds will go to cities and municipalities. 40% will be going to education. And so those of you who wrote a story in the Community Alliance for October, talking specifically about Proposition 15 and how I remember when Prop 13 passed in 1978, how our summertime programs at schools and our community centers all but went away because there wasn't funding for to keep those programs going. And in this COVID environment, this environment where our young people don't have a whole bunch of options to be able to do things, passing Prop 15 will be able to help generate some funds to be able to help us move in that direction. Prop 16 undoes or reinstates affirmative action. Many of the elements of affirmative action, which was taken out. I don't remember what year that was. I don't remember what year it was when that was undone. But this put the provisions back in there, puts in protections with governmental contracts, protecting the ethnic population, as well as women and other minority or other gender groups that are protected by federal law. And so this will help, in particular, will help those of you who are in business, getting loans and things of those sorts. Those young people who are going to college, it will help them with some of the admissions, getting into some of these universities. So I'm a big proponent of yes on 16 as well. 17 restores voting rights to felons who have done their time. Currently here in California, if you do a crime, you committed a felony crime, you get sentenced to X amount of years in prison. You do your time. When you come out, then they put you on supervised parole, or in some cases with feds, it's probation. And during that time that you're on probation or parole, you are not eligible to vote in California. A yes on 17 will reinstate your voting rights. You have the ability to get your voting rights back once you get released from lockup. So you commit a felony, you go through your 10 years, 15 years. When you get released from that, then you are automatically eligible to get your voting rights reinstated. Given the outset, what's happening with the communities of color, in particular men of color, with all of these bogus arrests and bogus sentences that people have gotten, I am big on yes on 17. Once a person has done their time behind their locked up or their incarceration, they should be fully reinstated back into society, and voting is one of those elements that needs to be reinstated. So I'm a yes on 17.